Hi everybody, my name's Bree and I wanted to talk to you guys today about how I planned a wedding in Hawaii in under 4 months for under $10,000. I want to preface this video by saying I don't know anything about weddings or wedding planning. All I knew was I was engaged. I had family already coming down in 4 months and I wanted to make sure that I could have my wedding when they were here so that they wouldn't have to spend a bunch of money to come back. My whole family lives in California and it's kind of expensive to travel to Hawaii. So I knew that it was important for me to try, if at all possible, to plan my wedding in those 4 months so that I could have it while my family was already gonna be here. Also, I wanna say that before I get into anything, if you don't live in Hawaii, it's gonna be a lot harder to have an affordable wedding here than it would be if you lived here, because destination weddings, that's like thousands of dollars extra in cost just in like travel and housing and stuff like that. So yeah, this is how I had my wedding on Oahu, where I live, for under 10,000, which is actually not easy. When I was planning, I made a little wedding budget. My wife and I both knew that we did not want to spend an insane amount of money on a wedding. People spend $20, $30, $40, $50,000 on weddings, and if that's for you, that's totally awesome, and do you, and if you have the money and you want that huge event, that's amazing, and I want that for you. But for us, we don't have that kind of money. Our families don't have that kind of money. And also, we did not feel like it was necessary. We're not those kind of people that would spend that much on an event like that. We definitely wanted to spend a little bit more money on our honeymoon or traveling or for our home. Things like that kind of make more sense for us personally. Again, it's a personal choice. But when I started planning our wedding, it seemed like it was going to be impossible to have a wedding that was more affordable. Originally, I didn't want to spend more than $4,000. Being where we are, our location, everything is already more expensive. So yeah, it probably would have been impossible to have a wedding for that amount. So my next goal was no more than 10,000. And while that's still more than I would have liked, it's okay. And we did that. We ended up having our wedding, it came out to about 9,200 roughly. And I feel pretty good with that number. I'm pretty proud that we kept it under the, under the tens of thousands, you know? And now looking back, that I know that there's more spots that I could have cut a little bit more money as well. The first thing was the venue. We were having a really hard time finding a venue because immediately that can be $10,000 right there. That you could have spent the amount that I paid on my whole wedding just on the venue, and not all venues even include like chairs and tables and things like that. So we were looking for something affordable. We looked into things that aren't usually wedding venues too. One of the colleges had a hall that they ran out. We looked into that. We looked into a church that's right next to my wife's family's house. Not being in the church, we're not religious and couldn't get married in the church if we don't go to that church, you know. Also, we're lesbians, so that plays a part. So we looked into the lot that the church is on, just like in the yard, because it's very beautiful, very green in that area. Lots of trees, and it would have been a very pretty spot. Unfortunately, they did not allow us to do that. I'm pretty sure because we're gay, also not a part of the church, but if they have allowed us, it would have been free, and then you can just like make a donation to the church. And so that would be like a really good option if you don't have a lot of money and you just make a donation however much you can, a couple $100s, you know, and that would have paid for that. Plus it would have been very close to like her family's house and things like that, which would have made it a little bit easier as well. If your family has a big yard, like a lot of space, I would take advantage of that. Have an outdoor wedding, a backyard wedding. Those are really cute. Those can still be very sweet, very beautiful, but also simple and cheap. And then if you have a backyard wedding, you don't have to pay for hotels for you and your bridal party either, because you can just get ready at that house. For us, we ended up finding a hall at a church. So it's not actually inside the church. There's the church and then there's a separate hall that they own. I think for like, that's where they go and eat and get together afterwards. And we ended up finding that in Kaneohe. For the hall, it was $750. So what we did, there's a little yard. I'll pictures somewhere in here. There's a little yard right outside the hall. So there's so there's a yard, like side yard right outside the hall, and we're on an island, so if you're on one of the edges, you know, the odds of you seeing the ocean are pretty high. So this hall happens to be oceanfront. So you can see the ocean and it's really beautiful, and there's like this really pretty park down at the bottom. And so we asked them if we could have our ceremony in the yard and use the hall for our reception. And they said yes. And we were really lucky. We got denied from a couple places, like this garden. The owners of the garden were Mormon, which, you know, nothing against Mormons, and I'm sure not everyone thinks the same. But once they found out it was a lesbian wedding, they denied us. But that would have been pretty cheap as well. That would have been a little bit cheaper. It was like $600, and it's like a botanical garden type thing, but it's like privately owned. So you can look into stuff like that too. Even state parks are a lot cheaper, just for the ceremony. If you have a place you can do the reception, then I would look into that as well. But yeah, so we got lucky, this hall at this church. So if you're not religious and you think, oh, I definitely don't want to get married at a church, there's still options outside of like getting married inside the church. They have public halls, a lot of them, that you can rent out, and that made it a lot more affordable. They also already had foldable chairs and tables, which, you know, they're not the fanciest, but if you put like table covers on them and stuff, and it still looks just as nice, and nobody knows. So yeah, they already had tables and chairs, so that saved us a few hundred on rentals because it was included in the hall. Yeah, that kept us under $1,000 for hall, for ceremony, reception, and table chair rentals, which was fantastic. Photo and video total, including tip, we spent $2,750. Now this was one of the most expensive parts of the wedding that we spent money on, but I think, again, it may be different for everybody, but for me, it was kind of important to have something. I would spend more money on something like that than other things, because the pictures, the videography, you know, that's gonna last forever, and other things are not. You know, they were just, you're gonna have them for the night and forget about them, but pictures are very important because they will help you remember. Sorry, this is my dog's head. So for the officiant, we had a family friend of mine officiate the wedding, and that is something that is really helpful to save money. He was like an uncle to me growing up, so that felt nice, like knowing that the person marrying us is family. It kind of makes it just sweet and feel a little bit more intimate. But if you have a family friend get ordained online, it's so easy. It takes a couple seconds, and it saves you money on a officiant. So that's an option to save lots of money. For rentals, like I said, they covered the tables and chairs, kind of everything we really needed as far as that. And then, yeah, the only other thing we really rented was 2 peacock chairs for our wedding party table for me and my wife to sit at. And those both peacock chairs, we rented them from a lady on Facebook Marketplace. And it was so cute, and it was $100 for both of them. And yeah, it was great. And we rented them for 2 days, and they came with cute little cushions. It was adorable and really kind of made the like boho vibe that we were going for. Now I will say, since it is a lesbian wedding, one thing that we spent a little more money on or a lot more money on than we were going to was wedding dresses. Now it's not just one wedding dress that you're paying for, it was 2. So that was kind of a lot. My dress, I had a dress, a veil, and a belt. I ended up not even wearing the belt, so it's kind of annoying, but all together, and shoes. I wore platform Vans, so I didn't wear heels or anything, which made it a little bit cheaper too. It was like $45 for the Vans. But all together for my entire wedding day outfit was $1,100. Now, shout out to my freaking parents, because my dad and my stepmom actually paid for that for me, which I'm so thankful for. I was not expecting them to, so I'm super grateful that they did. It helped me. I was able to give a couple hundred to my wife for hers, and she had her wedding dress. She got heels from, I think it was like Jeans Warehouse or something, just very simple white heels, and they were on sale for $15, okay? So you don't need to buy $700 plain white heels, because, okay, I don't think anyone really buys $700 heels, but you know, like $80 heels, you can get them. They look just as cute, and you can get them from Jeans Warehouse for like $15, or, you know, places like that that are super cheap. And then she wore a flower crown, and that was about $90, because that's the only real floral anything that we had in our wedding was her flower crown, but it was made like rustic. Boho had like pampas grass in it, which was kind of, so the theme of our wedding was boho, beige, and rust. And this was actually one of our decorations there. So you get the kind of vibe. And so that's kind of like the vibe of her label. So altogether, her stuff was only $700, quite a bit cheaper than mine. But luckily, my parents hooked it up for my stuff, so I was able to help out a little bit for hers. So total, this was the second most expensive thing we spent money on. The first was photography and videography. And so yeah, so total for our wedding day outfits, it was $1,950. Now this is a spot that you could definitely save more money in. Looking back, I would have. So looking back, I wouldn't have gotten the belt just because I ended up not wearing it and I was unsure about it. And if I was unsure about it, I shouldn't have, you know, you don't need all the extra like stuff. Also, they had so many dresses on sale. We went to David's Bridal, and they had so many dresses on sale. And if you tell them what your budget is from the beginning, they have dresses that are in those budgets. You could say, you know, my budget for my dress is $300, and they would have something. It might be a little more simple, but that's still beautiful and elegant. Also, I looked into secondhand dress sites, which sounds a little weird, like do you want to wear someone else's wedding dress? But if you're really, really balling on a budget and you kind of gotta, or you are okay, you're comfortable with that, or like, you know, secondhand things and don't care that it's a wedding dress, there are like wedding dress sites that you can buy them, or I've seen them on Facebook Marketplace, used once, never used, just can't return, you know. Those are options. But another thing too was my veil. I had, I don't know what it's called, like a cathedral veil, a very, very long one that went all the way to the ground. And my veil was like just over $100. But looking at it, there was nothing, I had no beads, no designs, nothing like intricate on it. It was just a plain veil. So looking back, something I could have done and that I would recommend, honestly, because I don't think that veil was worth $100 from David's Bridal, is getting a veil on like Amazon. So the Amazon veils are actually, I've seen so many videos, people did this, but they're actually, they look the exact same. They look the same. There was nothing special or like to set apart my veil from any other simple long veil on Amazon. I found one that was almost identical to mine, and instead of being just over $100, it was just over 20. And so that's another spot that you could save like some good money. For drinks, we did, it's hard to explain. We knew we weren't gonna have a bartender, we knew we weren't gonna have a bar. Drinks are freaking expensive. Bars at weddings are expensive. Open bars, if you want to be that generous, like that's hard. So to cut down costs, we bought alcohol from Costco. We bought a few packs of beers, a couple bottles of wine, a couple bottles of vodka, a bottle of tequila, and then we had like different juices and water, obviously, and we had a drink table, and we had these drink dispensers of juices, and then a bucket of ice with the bottles of liquor and wine in it, and it was self-serve, and underneath was a huge ice chest filled with like different beers and soda, and that was underneath it, and you couldn't even see underneath because it had like the tablecloth was long, so it didn't make it look like not as classy, you know what I mean? It still looked, it was a very cute setup, and it looked nice, and it saved us money. We also told people in Hawaii, I don't know, I've never heard of it before moving here, and my wife's family being like a local family, almost everything is, you know, BYOB. So people will bring, and we told a couple people, you know, like just letting them know they could do that if they wanted to. Bring a tiny ice chest with their own beer, whatever they wanted to drink, because everyone likes different things. And we tried to get a good mix for everybody, but so quite a few people already kind of knew and brought their own little personal ice chest with their own drinks and keep it in their car, or they brought it in and put it under their table, so then they just have their own drinks. It's totally, I don't know if that's like acceptable where you guys live, wherever that may be, but BYOB is an option if you're really on a budget. Otherwise, Costco has like bulk size handles of liquor and giant packs of beer, and just kind of self-serve that. Ended up being good. And all together on drinks, water, soda, juice, alcohol, everything, including the drink bucket, the cups, the straws, the dispensers, everything that goes into having a drink bar, $200. Now I've got these two giant dispensers, very cute, glass, had like a brown rope, or like a beige rope on them, like to match the vibe, you know. I got them on Facebook Marketplace, and you know, used, and that saved a lot of money. I'm saying Facebook Marketplace and Amazon were my best friends throughout this process. Another huge thing that saved us so much money was, okay, so floral. Flowers, if you're looking into it at all, flowers are so expensive in weddings. And what's frustrating is they don't last, they die, or they get thrown away at the end of the night, or people take them home, but still they die in like a couple days. And it could be thousands of dollars just on florals. So we had our wedding, no florals at all. Like I said, the only flowers in our whole wedding were on my wife's haku. The white roses to go in with some pampas grass and stuff like that. And that's the only flowers that we had, the only real or live plant we had. Everything else we had was pampas grass. Now I have pampas grass like this, all different shapes and sizes. Here, I'll show you another one. Here's another one we had. It's like this pretty rusty color, matched. But yeah, so all we had was pampas grass, different shapes, different sizes, heights, whatever. We had fake pampas grass, real pampas grass, and then we had these dried palm leaves, different kind of dried things. And we had enough, and I got everything of pampas grass I got, Amazon. And we got it all, enough to make all of our centerpieces and fill, you know, all these bigger ones to fill as decoration throughout our whole venue. So for everything, for all of that, we spent, let me also say, for the bridesmaid bouquets, I bought them on Etsy, and they were dried flower pampas grass bouquets. I'll put a picture in here somewhere. But they weren't like wedding bouquets. If you type in wedding before anything, it's automatically going to be more expensive. So I was looking at like house decor bouquets, and they're really small and simple, but they were so cute and perfect for what we were going for. And let me see if I wrote it down. Yeah, for all, we had 4 bridesmaid bouquets. We had 2 bridesmaids on each side, and then I had a bridesman and she had a man of honor, so they didn't have bouquets. So 4 bridesmaid bouquets from Etsy was only $50. Now for real flowers, a single bridesmaid bouquet probably would have been more than 50 just for one. And then for mine and my wife's bouquets, we wanted something similar to our bridesmaids, just a little bit bigger, and I couldn't find anything on Etsy that was for those that would have worked, that was less than $50 each, and my budget for mine and my wife's bouquets was $50 altogether. That was my goal. So I couldn't find anything, so a week before my wedding, my sister got here and we made them. I had some leftover pampas grass. We went to Ben Franklin's, which is a craft store here, and got some fake, like a few fake flowers and some more pampas grass and some more like something kind of similar to this palm leaf, and some, I think it was like twine to wrap the bouquet part. For both of our bouquets, all together, supplies, everything, from making them, was only $45. So altogether for all the bouquets for everybody was $189.14, and that's pretty freaking good. We saved so much money not doing florals, only having pampas grass, and then dried flower bouquets, and then also they last forever. So I still have one of the bridesmaid bouquets. Unfortunately, we don't have either one of our bouquets. There was a mistake and they got tossed in the bouquet toss instead of the other ones. But anyway, yeah, I still have one, and I know my sisters have theirs as like decoration in their rooms or whatever, or in their houses. And then I still have so much pampas grass, and it's so cute and matches the vibe of my house. So can be used forever. Multi-purpose, can be reused, and I like that. It also makes it feel like it's a little bit more worth money because it's not gonna die in a week. Personally, that's just me though. And I know that boho weddings are very popular now, so it's definitely an option. And if you live somewhere where pampas grass grows on its own, because I know people do, not here in Hawaii, but if you live somewhere where it grows on its own, go cut it. Go cut it, and just then you have it. You can dry it out, and then you have those decorations for free, and that would be even more cheap. All the decor we got. So I'm talking table runners, string lights. I had like string lights behind us at our table. String lights. We had a light up sign behind my wife and I in our peacock chairs. In the back it said "Till Death," and it was light up behind us. So yeah, light up sign. Letters, our initial letters, like light up letters. The dessert table backdrop, tablecloths, an easel, macrame arch, or arch hanging, because we had like a macrame arch hanging thing behind our wedding arch, and it looked really cute and boho. Tea light holders, the tea lights, palm leaves, dessert table baskets, platters, large vases, everything. All these vases, everything all together to decorate our entire venue for ceremony and reception was $1,020, which is pretty freaking great. Decorated the entire thing. For dessert, okay, this is another thing. People spend hundreds of dollars on a wedding cake, and I love that for you if that's what you want. I am so anti wedding cake. I hate cake. My wife's not into cake either, so we knew from the beginning that we didn't want to do that. We decided donut bar. So we got giant mason jars and other different size, like kitchen jar kind of things, and we filled them with different kinds of donuts, like donut holes, powdered little Hostess donuts, different like flavors, all different kinds, and they were kind of like on these baskets throughout. And then we got like a dessert platter, like a cake platter, it's like, you know. And we bought a few dozen, or a few boxes of a dozen each, glazed donuts from like a local donut shop, and just kind of placed them and tiered them like a cake. It was a donut cake. And then we had our own donut. That was the one that we ate, you know, instead of cutting a cake, we broke apart the donut and ate it. We had our own that was different, and it was like in the back and not on there. But yeah, just a glazed donut cake. We made, it was a fun little thing that me and my wife and my sister did together. We made cake pops, and we made chocolate covered pretzels with these cute little like pearl beads on them. And that saved us a lot of money as well. And then we ordered chocolate covered strawberries from a local girl who has her own like little home company. And we got chocolate covered strawberries as well. We tried to think about like desserts and snacks that we like and actually eat. And so yeah, that's what we chose. And it was kind of a hit. Actually, it was too much of a hit. Our dessert table was almost gone before we even, like, I didn't even see it actually complete because it was already gone by the time like I got over there to it, which is kind of sad, but it's okay. Like, obviously people really liked it, so I'm happy about that. And altogether, dessert only costed us $100 roughly. 100, I didn't get the exact numbers, but it was like 100 to like 120. And it was dessert for everyone. It was all different kinds, not just one thing, one cupcake or one piece of cake. Because not everyone likes that. Not everyone likes chocolate. Not everyone likes vanilla. Had a lot of options, and it was quite a hit, and only $100. And that saved us so much money, because you're gonna spend more than that on a cake. Not everyone here is super into cake either. We ended up spending about $900 on our hotel. We got a hotel for 2 nights. Now, we knew for our wedding parties, we were gonna do the thing where we're separate the night before. My wife's family lives in Kaneohe, the town that we got married in, like 5 minutes from our venue. So she stayed there, and her wedding party got ready there the next day. So that saved us a lot of money on having to spend, pay for 2 hotel rooms. But where we live is about 30 minutes away from our wedding venue, and so we definitely wanted to get something a little bit closer for me and my wedding party, because we couldn't just get ready at my house or this hotel like 1 minute away from our venue. So we got that hotel, and we got it for 2 nights. The first night for me and my family and my party to get ready, and the next day, and then the second night for me and my wife. And it was beautiful, like so beautiful. It was 2-bedroom waterfront suite, so it had a big balcony and walk into the water, and it was just so beautiful, and it was $980 total, like with tax and everything. We're lucky we get the Kama Aina discount because we are residents of Hawaii, and so we got to kind of waive those travel taxes or tourist fees or whatever they're called. But even with that, it was $988. My mom helped pay for part of it. I'm thankful for that as well. But definitely having family in the area helps save money. So if you can get ready at your house or a family member's house and that's like an option for you, definitely do it. Hotels are freaking expensive, so if it's gonna help save having to pay for an extra night in a hotel just by getting ready at your family's house, I would do that. Invitations. This is something I feel strongly about. I did not want to spend a couple $100s on these very elaborate, fancy invitations because I know they end up in the trash. They're gonna look at them, they're gonna like them, they're gonna put them on the fridge until the wedding, and then it's gonna go in the trash. And so what we did, we got these budget invitations on Zazzle, and it was, Zazzle.com, and it was a front and back, and they're budget invitations because they're thinner, they're not super thick cardstock, and I wanted to make it as easy as possible, so I didn't want them to have to like write things and then sit and put it back in the mail. And so we made a wedding website, and it's free on theknot.com, and it's a website you can just create on there. And so what we did was on our invitations, we put the QR code for our website so they can just scan the QR code and RSVP right then, and then you'd have the answer like immediately. And on the website, it's super cute. You get to put like, there's different pages, and you can put like your story. You could show your wedding party and who they are to you, and like pictures of them. You can show just extra pictures of you and your partner. You can give information, like if there's any Q&A, or if there's like any questions, there's a Q&A page, so any questions you can anticipate might be asked, you can put them on there and answer them. Like for us, it was, we made note that like it was a child-free wedding, and explained why. We put different hotels that people could stay at, like options that they could stay at, because a lot of my family was traveling in. So yeah, it was really helpful, and it was free. And so with our little budget invitations and them not having to like send anything back, so we didn't need those all-in-one invitations that are super expensive, we only spent $34.89 on invitations altogether. Now, looking back, I would have just skipped the paper invitations altogether and just sent out a link to everybody, like texted them the link, like, oh, here's the link to our website, you know, you're invited, RSVP. Because there were so many people, we ended up not even knowing their addresses, or they said they never got them, and we ended up just being like, oh, here's the link, and just sending them out anyway. We got married in November, it's April, and we still have so many leftover invitations that I just need to throw away. So we only spent $34 on them, or almost 35, and even still, that 35 could have gone somewhere else, because it's a lot more efficient just to send the link out, in my opinion. But also, we're not these big, like, fancy, needs to be traditional, classy wedding people. So the link really worked better, in my opinion, and just sending that. But still, it was very cheap with the paper ones and the QR code, and I definitely recommend the free wedding website on the Knot. And then they also have, when you build your wedding website, they also have a little timeline that they suggest you should have certain things done by when you're planning your wedding, and that really helped me as well, like check off things on my list to make sure that I was kind of getting everything that I needed done that I needed to, because like I said, I don't know anything about weddings or wedding planning, and I don't care to either, like for future things. so there was certain things I didn't know that I needed, and it just didn't cross my mind until I saw it on the list, and I'm like, oh crap, like I need that. So that really helped. And then there's just like a few extra things that we spent money on that we normally like that somebody normally wouldn't, but we ended up spending money on, not intentionally, but it just kind of, you know, miscellaneous stuff that ended up happening. We ended up paying for my wife's dad's and my wife's brother's suits. The way we're doing it, I know some people pay for their wedding parties outfits. We did not do that. We didn't, you know, have the money for it, and so we asked that our wedding party buy their own things. However, stuff came up, and the colors that I chose for her brother was the man of honor, and my sister was my maid of honor. And the color that I chose for them to wear was the rust color, and the one that I wanted actually ended up being so specific. It was so hard to find anywhere. I could not find a suit in that color. And so we ended up having to get one from Etsy, which was great. It ended up being perfect, but it was very stressful, and the way it happened, we ended up just having to pay for it. And then also we paid for both of our dad's ties. The reason we ended up paying for these things was, you know, to help, but also it was really hard to make sure that all the rusts for the different people matched, because we got them from different places. So that was really hard. For the other bridesmaids, their color was, and my brother, a bridesman, their color was beige, and I wanted the girls to wear satin. So that's the only rule that I gave them, and they were able to find, I said, you know, they can be all different styles, just the same color and satin material. And so my brother got a beige suit on Amazon, and it's like, how much was it? It was like $80 on Amazon, this suit, and it looked super nice, like $200, $300 suit for $80 on Amazon. My dad got his suit on Amazon, and then I bought my wife's dad's suit on Amazon as well. All of them $80. So that's an option. That's even cheaper than some places renting a suit. Amazon is definitely my friend in the process and saved us so much money. But my wife's bridesmaids, both of them, one of them bought the fabric and made their dresses, and so that was super cheap. And my little sister got her dress on Amazon, and it was like $20, $30. So instead of a $100, $200 bridesmaid dress, she only had to pay 20 something. No more than, it was like mid-20s, no more than 30 definitely. And that saved them money as well. So that worked out pretty well, not being super strict about like where they get it, just like color and material had to be the same, and kind of just free reign. Things that helps save us money would be even like with the party gifts or the bridesmaid proposal boxes. That was super cheap, our bridesmaid proposal boxes. All together on all of our bridesmaid proposals, we had 6 of them because we had 3 each, and it was $84. We had, everything I got was from Amazon. We had cute little dragon's blood sage, which was like the rust color of our wedding. We had those cute little vodka shots, a beige satin scrunchie, and then these little celestial looking hair bobby pins from Target that we wanted them to wear in the wedding, and face masks, I think. And that's what we did for the girls, and they loved it. And then the guys, we had, you know, guy versions of those things. And the boxes we got were just these paper foldable boxes, like a 10 pack of them, but each of those things that we bought came in a pack, and all together just for all of them was $80. Now I think that we could have even saved a little bit more money by doing less or something more simple, but the boxes were super cute. And then even the putting their name on it, I just typed their names on a paper in like Google Docs and made it a cute font and a cute rust color. and cut them out and taped them on top of the box, and it looked cute. And I'll put a picture in here too. And then I used Canva for the inside, where it was like, will you be my bridesmaid? And then like a cute little design that Canva already had pre-made, and then I just put their name on top of it, like typed it on top, and then I printed it and stuck it in the box on the inside. And it worked well, and they were super cute. So yeah, definitely the main places we saved money was like florals. Definitely recommend making your own bouquets. It was fun. It was fun to do. Super, super cheap. Saved hundreds of dollars on that. Something else I want to touch on too is rely on your family. I didn't think that we could get the amount of help we did. Now, a lot of things we could have gotten more help, but there is always somebody who knows somebody, and that can help your wedding be cheaper. For our food, I don't even think I touched on that. For our food, my mother-in-law, she's in a Facebook group, like a food Facebook group, and she had a friend who was willing, who cooks, and was willing to supply the food for our wedding. And it's not a huge company, not a catering company, and so it was way, way, way more affordable than it would have been to go through a company like for catering and stuff. And then we had a few of our nieces and nephews were in charge of serving the food. And it's okay to delegate and ask family members to do things, and that saved us a lot of money. Another alternative to that we discussed before her mom found her friend that was going to do that for us, was kind of a potluck style, like assigning certain family members that aren't like, not in your wedding party, but close family members, assigning them to a dish or two and being like, can you supply this? Can you supply that? And that would be a nice free option. You know, if your family's willing to support and do something for you guys in that way, just help in whatever way they can, supplying a dish or two, and then you end up with enough food to like feed everybody. That's another option if you're super on a budget, and that, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if it's like a cute, simple backyard wedding, which, I don't know, is kind of perfect. But if you're looking for something and you're on a budget, that is a fantastic option. Things that helped us save money, aside from that, were you limit the amount of people that you have at your wedding. Now, it was really hard. We could not go over 100. Like, we really could not afford anything over 100 people. And here, the families here are big. So my wife's family is huge, and it's unfortunate, but we couldn't afford any more than that. So an easy way to kind of combat it was say no children. The only children that were able to come were her immediate family, the ones we lived with when I first moved here. So just a couple nieces and nephews, and they were older, and like I said, they helped us. They were kind of assigned to feeding everybody and giving everyone their food, you know? So yeah, no kids outside of immediate family. That's become a lot more common, but it was surprisingly controversial here. It was surprisingly controversial for my wife's family. Like I said, they have big families. So that was unfortunate. Some people couldn't make it due to that request, but you know, you have to do what you have to do when you're on a strict budget and can't really afford, you know, to go up. Because the more people you have, the more supplies you need in every category, not just one, but every category, and it's very pricey. So yeah, no kids is what helped us. For our makeup, my wife, she had her sister do her makeup. Her sister does fantastic hair and makeup, and so she did hers. For me, I have my lash lady who's also my friend, and she did my makeup and my hair, my mom's makeup and my sister's makeup. And then we had a family friend that came with my parents, and she did my stepmom and my other sister's makeup because she's very good at it. So if you have people that are good at these things, utilize them. If you're comfortable and you feel confident in your own hair and makeup skills, do it yourself. That would save hundreds of dollars. Now, I'm really lucky. My lash artist, who's also my friend, she gave her services to me as a gift, as a wedding gift. So she did my hair and makeup, my mom and my sister's makeup, and it was a gift. And so I'm very appreciative for that, but it saved a lot of money. But if you know people, family, friends, siblings that are really good at makeup, even if you're not, ask them to do yours, and hundreds of dollars right there saved. And that's why I say, like, really utilize your family. If you don't know somebody that might know somebody, someone in your family probably does, and they can hook it up and help you out, and that's good. That's how we got our DJ, was my father-in-law, his cousin does some side hustle DJ work, and his family gave it to us at a fat discount and really helped. And that's what makes it work. But I wouldn't have known that my father-in-law would know multiple DJs, but he did. And one of them happened to be his cousin, who helped us because family. And so we're really lucky with that. But even if you think your family might not know people, ask them. Talk to them. Communicate, this is what I'm looking for, and I'm super strict on a budget with it. And you know, you never know who knows and who can help figure it out. Another thing that really helped us was actually at our wedding doing a money dance. If you don't do a money dance, you're losing out on like a lot of money. We used the money that we got from our money dance for our honeymoon, and it helped a lot. And then on our website, there's a wedding gifts page, and the only thing we asked for was donations to our honeymoon fund instead of like physical gifts. If they were able, you know, instead of physical gifts, what would help us was donations to our honeymoon fund, and that helped a lot. So even if you aren't going on a honeymoon or are going on a simple honeymoon, you don't need the extra money for it. This money from the money dance, the honeymoon fund, we had a card table instead of like a gift table, so in the cards had money as well. All these things can help pay back what you paid for your wedding. They're freaking expensive. So these gifts from people, you know, they can really help to soften the blow of the payments. We got our wedding party different gifts, and that's optional. For some reason, I felt like so obligated to, because it's something that you're supposed to do because it's like the norm. But you don't have to. You do not. You've already gotten them like proposal gifts. You know, they're a part of your day because they love you and they want to be with you and support you. You do not have to get bridal party gifts for like the night before your wedding or whenever you give it to them. We ended up doing it, but it was still very simple things. I think altogether for the gifts, we spent $100. That's because I have a gift giving problem, and I also did feel kind of obligated to. But looking back, honestly, I wouldn't have, personally. So, you know, altogether, in Hawaii, planned in 4 months for under $10,000. I hope this helped. If you have any questions or want to kind of know a little bit more, or if I missed a spot that I could have talked about that would have helped like money-wise, let me know in the comments, or you know, find me on Instagram and message me. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't really sit down and make videos of myself like this. I just wanted to kind of put out there what I learned and what I know, which is not a lot. Again, like I said, I hope this can help. These kinds of videos really helped me when I was planning my wedding. Just know that weddings don't have to be insanely expensive, and they can be even cheaper than $9,000. Mine was $9,000, and they can be even cheaper than that. You can budget and find something simple, and if huge weddings are not you, don't feel like you have to do them. I started feeling like, oh, I have to do this at my wedding, and I have to do this at my wedding. And I started feeling that way, and a lot of things happened, and it ended up feeling a little bit more like a show or like a party for everyone else rather than my wedding for me and for my wife. A lot of things ended up feeling like I had to do them that way, or they had to be this way. And no one's say matters except for yours and your partner's. Do not feel obligated. Your wedding can be as simple or as elaborate as you want. You don't have to have traditional wedding timelines. You don't have to have the same things that everyone has in their wedding because it's the tradition. You can do it exactly how you want, take out or put in whatever event or whatever moment you want that fits you and your partner. In the end, it is your day. It can be as affordable or as big, bad, and bougie as you want it to be. But I hope this helped. If not, that's okay too. But thank you guys.